Welcome to Carver Conversations. I'm your host, Tiff Marchand, and this is a Sabertooth podcast. Today on the show, we have Lundy Cupp, who is an incredible carver from tiny little pieces to really big interactive pieces. So it was a ton of fun to sit down and get to know him. This is his season, so Halloween is his jam. That is what he specializes in, and he has a pumpkin carving book as well, which I think is very fascinating. Well, I just want to say thank you for him to come out. I hope you enjoy listening to him, and don't forget to sign up for our newsletter to get 25% off for 24 hours. It's a once a month coupon that comes out. And if you can't wait for that offer, use EM2CO to save 10% now, and that way you can enjoy your bits now without having to wait. All right, on to the show.
First, thanks so much. I'm honored. I'm flattered that you've asked me.
You're welcome.
To do this. Absolutely, and this is super cool. I've watched a few, and you guys rock.
Oh,
you
thanks.
rock, and obviously Sabertooth rocks. But
we've had some really fun people on too. Like it's been a really cool adventure getting to talk to everybody. Where are you based out of?
I'm just outside of Nashville in a wonderful little town called Kingston Springs, Tennessee. I'm about 18 miles west of downtown Nashville.
That's awesome. So if you want to go up there for a trip, the one that you just posted.
Yeah, that's in front of the Kingston Springs Library, the 12-foot owl.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's all kinds of...
That dragon eye is so cool on it.
Oh, thanks. So there's gold
stands out. Too. Is there? Okay.
So when the sun hits it, it gleams real cool and everything. But yeah, that was a labor of love. I had done another one for the town of Kingston Springs, and it was like an old face. It was like one of my first chainsaw carvings. So
that's great.
They've used it for their Facebook profile picture and everything for years, but it's starting to rot from the inside out because it's hollow.
Yeah.
And so they asked me to do another one. And when they said, I said, well, where's it going to go? And they said, in front of the library. And I said, can I do what I want? And they trusted me. So,
fantastic.
And I literally just kind of winged it. I knew I was going to do an owl and a stack of books, but then the rest of it, I just sort of...
It's just, it's like a crazy mashup of all kinds of things. Like, I'm like, at first you think it's Harry Potter because you see owls and books, right? So like that gets to your head. You're like, oh, Harry Potter. And then you're like, wait a minute. Wait, what's that? Or, oh, what's it here?
Dragon's eye, and then there's a wizard, and then there's all these little gnomes.
Then you have like a staircase or something on it too. And
all the way around the bottom, little fingers can walk on the stairs and stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, it's cool.
People are gonna enjoy that there.
Oh, it got installed about 3 weeks ago, and it's everybody's having a lot of fun with it. So that's super cool. I do everything from giant stuff and trees to little tiny things like this is.
I saw that on your page. That's adorable. It's so tiny. Like I can't imagine. What are you carving those little guys with?
Rotary stuff. Just need rotary tools, but yeah. So since this is a Sabertooth thing, I have to say that, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I've tried all of the other rotary stuff, discs for angle grinders.
Yep.
Some of them I won't mention that I would like to tell people don't even use those because you'll cut your arm off.
But I know which ones you're talking about. I have one that I never use as well.
Oh my gosh, please don't.
I don't.
I won't mention any names or anything. But so I've tried all of the other ones, and Sabertooth is, in my opinion, and I'm not saying this just because I'm here. I tell everybody, all my carver friends, the stuff that I use, and Sabertooth is by far the best stuff. The carbide tips, they're
amazing.
They hold, they don't clog up. They're easy to clean. I mean, they do clog, everything clogs up. If you're aggressive,
if you're working hard.
Right. But they're really easy to unclog and clean and everything. So I dig all of them, from the big discs to the little tiny stuff. I want to order some of the new Whisper stuff.
Have you played with them at all yet?
I I don't think I got any. I think I got one. I ended up getting
One.
one in the mail. I think I don't remember if Jody sent. Yeah. Anyway, if
We'll
Jody sent
tell her.
that one, but yeah. I love everybody at Sabretooth is so cool
I know
too.
Jody's amazing though. She's so fun and just like
Oh,
an awesome person. She says hello, by the way.
oh, very cool. I love her,
Yes,
and say hello back because
I
yeah,
will.
actually we've been back and
Back and
forth
forth.
for
Yeah.
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of buds and stuff, sort of online and everything. But yeah, she's let me try a lot of new things and stuff, and man, those things rock. I do so much of my work. I start with big saws if I'm doing
Yep.
trees and stuff.
Yep.
Work my way down to little tiny saws and like little Bob the Builder chainsaws. That's kind of what I call them because I
I
put.
want to see this little Bob the Builder chainsaw.
No, it's really funny. I should go get it because you will laugh.
I'm sure.
It's the smallest. So yeah, I really dig all the stuff from the tiny things, the rotary stuff to the big giant honking ones on die grinders. And
Yeah, I haven't played with the die grinders yet, and it will be this week. Yeah.
oh, you haven't?
No, I was like angle grinder exclusively.
Oh
Then I've
yeah.
been messing with the rotary tools, and then now they've got some really great new burrs coming out in October,
Yeah.
and they're all for the die grinder. So I gotta get
So,
my practice.
so they're a little larger, the
Mm-hmm.
quarter-inch shaft and everything.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, those things are amazing.
I'm sure.
They will make work so much fun and so much faster.
Yeah.
And they have some I ordered one of the gnarly, like
Blue.
the flame, I think it's
Yeah.
called, that shape. And it's a purple one. And it looks
Oh.
like a medieval torture device, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can put
Like a
that thing
mace.
on a chain and do some damage. But be super careful using the really aggressive ones.
That's
I
what I've
don't
heard.
know.
Do you get a lot of kickback on them because they're so aggressive? If you hit like a grain change, is that what happens?
Yeah, so just kind of sneak up on it if it's on a die grinder. I mean, a
Mm-hmm.
die grinder or angle grinder.
Yeah.
So safety first, man, for
Yeah.
sure, absolutely. And in fact, I was using an angle grinder once, and it was at the kind of a crotch of a big log.
Oh yeah.
Got caught, and it kicked back. The angle grinder kicked back, and it went wham.
Ooh.
I was wearing a helmet.
Thank goodness. I was like, would you have your hat on?
I was wearing a helmet, and it would have had a permanent part. And that's when I first started carving, and
Right.
started using that stuff. And I didn't really know, it was probably
You have
maybe
to learn. Yeah, exactly. Like how to approach a piece. It takes
right.
years. Yeah.
Absolutely. It was probably
Yeah.
about 15 years ago when my first experiences, and boy, I learned fast.
I bet.
That never happened again.
I'm glad you wore a helmet though. Like it's
Oh
super
yeah.
important to have the right safety. Like you said, like safety first, like to have the right equipment like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ear stuff, always eye protection, because the stuff flies.
How did you get into like carving in the first place? Like, did it start with the smaller pieces? Is that kind of what was a gateway drug, we'll say?
No, it was so this is career number 3. And I
Nice.
actually do this for a living now.
Beautiful.
I'm very fortunate no, I'm not getting rich. All you carvers out there, good luck with that. Just saying, but I'm happy, I'm healthy. My first career was when I was trust me, this won't take up the whole hour. This is the summarized version. I'm still a musician. I'm a drummer and
Oh, awesome.
percussionist, and I was a touring and studio drummer in Chicago and in Nashville
That's cool.
before I even lived in Nashville. And I fell in love with this town, and so yeah, I played music for a living for many years, and kind of got burnt out a little bit.
I'm sure.
Got burnt out a lot after several years of it. So I decided to go with career number 2, and everybody says, where'd that come from? Career number 2 was I was a criminal fraud investigator.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because my first job when I was 17, I busted shoplifters. I was a store detective for my
Yes.
rewards
Yep.
in Chicago. And so, I became corporate with that and started busting. My hair was almost to my butt. Right. And so I was busting management and everything with the corporation at like 18, 17, 18, 19 years old.
That's
And
amazing.
I got picked up to go play music for a living. And my parents were like, go do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll always be here, but go do the dream thing. So I did that, and I ended up with my own company, and I specialized in surveillance, and had a surveillance team and worked around the country with law enforcement, DA's offices, corporations, mostly surveillance, sneaking up on bad guys. And I was a bounty hunter for a while, and all that kind of
got to look for it.
Huh?
I said, you got to look for the bounty hunter.
Oh no. A lot of my friends call me, oh yeah, it's horrible.
I like it.
Crocodile Lundy, which is that's so bad. But so I really dug that, but it was super, super dangerous. And I did it I owned the company for 13 years.
Wow, you stuck with it
I'm
for a
getting
while.
to your question.
No, I like this. I want to know the history because like these are things that people would not know, you know, like this is
Oh,
cool.
absolutely. Right. Yeah, people don't, everybody looks at me and goes, what the hell are you talking about? Transition, career number 3.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it was really dangerous. And I have a son who's now 22, but he was little when I was doing this, and I've been shot at more times than any police officers I know. Everybody missed, fortunately.
That's good.
And so it was, like I said, a very, very dangerous job. And the stress was nuts because I owned the company and I had investigators throughout. I worked all over the United States, but I primarily had my team in the Southeast.
Okay.
And so I worked 24/7. I say I own the company owned me.
You. Yeah.
Right. So after a few years of that, I've had the same doctor forever. We're about the same age, and I've had the same doc. He's such a cool dude for at least 35 years. I know, right?
That's amazing.
I know. And he looked at me, and he's not this kind of guy, but he looked at me one day during a physical and he said, dude, you're going to die. Literally, he looked at me and was like, what are you talking about? He said, you have high blood pressure now. He said, you are so stressed out. You aren't healthy anymore. He said, I know this is your company. He said, but you're killing yourself. If somebody else doesn't kill you first, you finish it off. And he said, and right before then, Tiffany, I had picked up a chunk of wood. I have a few acres here.
Nice.
And a nice house, and it's really private and it streams. It's beautiful.
That sounds great.
And I picked up a chunk of wood with a couple buddies down in my fire pit down in the woods. And I have no idea why, but it was this log probably about 2 feet, and it was hollow. And I had cut it kind of at a weird angle. And for some reason I was like, wait, don't throw that in the fire. I brought it back up to the garage. And after about a week, I had this vase carved with flames in it. I turned it into this vase, and
awesome.
And it was like, wow, that was really a lot of fun. So I tried something else, and then I'm looking, I'm checking all kinds of stuff out on the internet and everything. And all you carvers out there, I love bears and birds and everything else, but not a lot of people or sculptors do faces.
Right.
They're kind of hard.
They are hard.
You're doing whimsical stuff. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to try doing faces. So I'm completely self-taught. Self-taught is kind of that's kind of weird because you can Google anything, right?
Yeah, but you taught yourself though. It still works.
I did. I taught myself.
Yeah.
And I know how to use chisels and everything else, but I started working with power tools. And so a lot of carvers are romantic and traditionalists and just hand tools and whatever. Me, I'm still guiding that rotary tool.
Exactly.
That Wheatear quarter horsepower, deal. And so I just dug in. And I ended up listening to my doc and closed my company, did all of that, became Mr. Mom, which was absolutely awesome. It was so much fun.
Your whole life. Yeah. You flipped it. That's great.
Did a total flip. And my son was born when I was 42. So I started late in life as far as having kids and stuff. And man, I was instantly hooked. And so I was like, you know what? I think I'm really going to dig in and teach myself everything. And I did, how to finish stuff, how to carve things, just everything I could. And I was so hooked that, and I was actually getting kind of decent at it. I have the first face I ever carved hanging right there in my living room.
It's
And
awesome.
I'll never sell it. I don't have that vase anymore. I wish I did.
Oh, did you sell that one?
Yeah, a long time ago. Wish I had it. I'd buy it back if I could find it. I have no idea where it is. So it just, one thing led to another, and people were saying, well, how much is that? And I was like, I don't know. I did it for fun. And that kept happening. And finally, I was just like, okay, maybe I do have
I have a business here. Yeah.
Right. I should. And I've run businesses before. So I was like, man, okay, maybe I should be serious, but not too serious and take all the fun out of it, right? And I just kept going and going and going. And before I knew it, I was
publish a book. Like,
oh, so Wood Carving Illustrated
yeah.
magazine. I've done several articles with them. I'm also a writer. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
I work very different careers right now, so I get it.
There
I
you
get
go.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. I have like 3 different hats. I'll switch in a day or more, depending.
Right on. Hey, man, it's cool. Yeah, I am never bored, ever bored.
Exactly.
So Wood Carving Illustrated found some of my stuff. And so I've done a few. So I write my own articles too. So I did a few articles with them and some power carving stuff and a few different things. And then, so the next progression was like, I love Halloween. It's my favorite time of year, right?
Same.
And so I started carving pumpkins, but doing the 3D.
Yeah.
Like my all-time hero, never met him yet, Ray Fame. I mean, he's the bomb.
Yeah, I agree.
But then Wood Carving Illustrated, Fox Chapel Publishing is the publisher for the magazine, a whole bunch of others, and they said, dude, do a pumpkin book with us. And so I did. I just happen to have
look at it there.
One right there. It's pretty fun.
I saw that when I was browsing. I was like, oh, he needs to advertise this more. So I am so glad you brought it out. Like,
there you go.
Yes.
That's it.
That's so great that they reached out to you for it.
Oh, they did. Yeah, I was completely flattered, totally blown away. It's a coffee table kind of instructional thing. So there's lots of cool pictures, but there's also specific instructions on how to do eyes, how to do teeth, and all kinds of things, and step-by-step stuff. But for me, pumpkins they're a blast because now, since I'm halfway decent at this carving faces stuff, they're like sketches for me. I can do
oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I can do one in an hour, as opposed to a chunk of wood that, takes with even crazy, wild, aggressive saber-tooth.
I say even with power tools, yeah, they still take quite a while.
Right. But, I use different stuff. I use clay sculpting tools for the pumpkins and everything, and a scalpel and stuff. But I'm like Lundy scissor hands. There's pumpkin crap just flying. It's great. It's so much fun. And so I do demos all over the country. I do TV stuff. I Food Network's always hitting me up to do stuff, but my schedule never allows me to do it.
Yeah, that would be cool to see you on there.
Oh, it'd be a lot of fun, but competition stuff I don't know. It's
plus if you're having bookings, then you might lose money going on it too, and it's tough. It's tough.
And I do pumpkins all over the country, and I get to do some crazy fun celebrity parties. And
I was going to ask you that. Yes. I was gonna say, do people buy them as displays for like their Halloween parties?
Well, but mostly what I do are demonstrations. They hire me to sit and shoot the bull and kind of explain what I'm doing and have a lot of fun because I'm pretty animated when I'm doing it because it's a blast. So I'm sort of part of the entertainment, you might say.
I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not supposed to mention any names celebrity wise.
That's totally fine. You totally want to, though.
Guys so want to, because you'd be like, tell me about it. Right, exactly.
That's so great though, to have those opportunities, because that just enhances a party so much to have a sculpture like that. Like that's just, it's on top of like maybe ice sculptures it might have too. Like it's just really cool atmospheres that must be created with your work.
Absolutely. And so I've thought about if I lived in Minnesota for a long time too, for several years, Minnesota and Chicago. If I were still up north, I'd be doing all the snow sculptures, ice sculptures. But here in Tennessee,
right,
I would be saying, you see that puddle right there? That was a badass carving. And
now it's seen it 3 hours ago.
Exactly. Now it's a puddle. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, pumpkins, absolutely a blast. But it's the wood carving stuff and all the other things and getting into different tools. And like I said, I've tried so many different, all of them tools, and landed on, again, this is legit, landed on Sabertooth because all the stuff that they produce is good. I haven't come across anything that is screwed up or I didn't like or anything. And they're constantly coming out with new stuff.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
You have this amazing, like, it's like that old school, the faces that you would find on the trees, like I love that style, but you're like putting it on everything, like the leaf that you did with the face on it, like that's incredible.
Oh, thanks. Oh, you're sweet. That's super sweet. And
it was so cool looking.
Oh, thanks a bunch. My favorite thing to do is like driftwood or just chunks of wood. And then I'll do my thing, maybe in just a small spot, but then I'll leave what Mother Nature did because that's super cool and beautiful too. And I will roll with whatever is there. So I sent you a picture of a dragon. Dragon thing.
I saw it, yeah.
And actually, it's sold, but I asked actually, it's sold. I have to deliver it tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
But so it's a chunk of driftwood, and this is what Sabertooth can do. Okay.
I'm trying to look for it right now. I'm like, oh, here we go.
I have the dragon right here.
Oh, let's see it then. Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay.
That's the dude, right?
Look at this snarl you gave it. Like, that's so cool.
So the snarl right here, there was a branch right here. I don't usually paint.
Worked with it.
I don't paint my my stuff, but sometimes I'll just like, I don't know.
I could totally see it. It looks awesome.
I'll paint the eye and then this tooth that was sticking out, but this was here already. So I just
worked with it.
I just rolled with it, and it ended up being, he's called the complacent dragon because he really looks like he doesn't give a crap.
He sure does.
So the other side of it, this is the back side. That's a granite rock that's wedged in there that, of course, I didn't pull out.
No way. Yeah.
Because
that's neat.
It's all wedged in there, and it's super cool. And so you can see the backside just kind of has that gnarly, funky, weird stuff
it gives you kind of like that inspiration. You could see what inspired you to make it. Like, that's really cool.
Oh, thanks. Yep. And so
is that wood you just found on the beach or someone? Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. And I wander through my woods sometimes and I'll just find a chunk of whatever and they just kind of show up. What's up, Wendell? I know they're creepy.
They're awesome.
They're a lot of fun. And
see, the painting does make it look extra creepy though. Yeah. Having the eyes and stuff.
I'll usually just paint the eyes.
It stands out though. It looks really neat.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. So that's my favorite thing to do. I do a lot of commission stuff. I don't like to do a lot of commission stuff.
Me neither.
Right? Because
I used to. but then it just gets very stressful. And then sometimes you don't want to do what they want. And then you feel uninspired. Like, at least me.
I'm doing a life-size portrait. It's a little larger than life-size portrait for a guy, a doctor in Louisiana. And I tried to talk him out of it. But it's of his dad, and it's fully in the round, and it's a butternut log. I actually got the log from a guy you may know, but I don't think he uses power tools. He's a very dear friend and kind of a mentor for me. His name's Vic Hood.
No, I don't know Vic Hood.
If you look Vic Hood up, he is a world-renowned, possibly the best portrait sculptor in wood alive on the planet.
All right. You know, when I'm editing this, I'm looking him up.
Not kidding. Vic Hood.
Okay.
Won every award you can imagine and just the coolest guy ever. So yeah, he's taught me a lot, actually. So I say I'm self-taught, but then I tap my super wicked, great, talented friend.
Just scrolling Instagram, you can learn so much by watching how people use their tools.
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing, like what you can just pick up visually. It's like,
yeah, Instagram. I love Instagram.
Yes.
And my Instagram is nothing but art. All kinds of art, from tattoo artists. I can't tell you how inspired I am by tattoo artists. I don't draw at all, but some of that stuff is just so creative and innovative, and I want to turn it into 3D, My brain's wired for 3D, so that's the way I roll with it. But you're absolutely right. So Instagram is super cool with just art. I mean, it's
if you follow the right accounts, your Instagram can be a dream. You start following things that you're not interested in, and then you're like, oh, that's just boring.
That's what Facebook is for.
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting sucked into the crap and everything that goes with that. Nah, that's what Instagram's all about.
Yeah.
So absolutely love it. Another reason why I love Halloween so much, and pumpkins comes around once a year.
Yep.
And I smoke it for a month. I mean, and what's funny is so many people say, are you just sick of pumpkins by Halloween? And I'm not.
No, not yet. You're not burned out by then?
Not at all. I have so much fun. And like I said, I can do them quickly, and every pumpkin is different. And it's just a trip. There are so many great pumpkin carvers out there, though. I'm sure you've seen.
There's some neat ones. Yeah. And then they transcend to the, like, when it's not pumpkin season, they'll start carving the fake pumpkins just to have more things to carve,
Well, so I do fruits and veggies, and I do, actually I do some events doing other things and fruits and veggies and stuff. But butternut squash and
your squashes. Yeah.
And faces. I can do faces and all that stuff all year round. So, yeah, if I need a quick fix to carve something really fast and fun, and then give it away. So at the end of pumpkin season, if I have a bunch left over, I do drive-by in Kingston Springs. I'll do drive-by pumpkin dropping. I will just leave them places, random places, like the schools or wherever. And
like, where'd these come from? I
don't know. Nobody knows where they come from.
They're all signed on the bottom.
Everybody knows where they come from. I'm the only guy around that does that crazy crap. So, anyway, yeah, it is a lot of fun. So
do you have like a supplier for them for your season, like, or do you just buy them locally?
Pumpkins?
Yeah.
Actually, this is kind of funny. There are a couple growers here, farmers and stuff, that were like, what do you like? And I was like, well, if you're asking. Howden Biggies are absolutely awesome. Hubbards are really cool. And so then the next year they ended up having a few of those, a small section. But there are enough growers around here to where I have a good variety. I'm at the mercy of, weather. I mean, it's a natural organic thing, but so far I haven't had too many problems finding pumpkins.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know if you just went to the grocery store to get them, which we know those can be very expensive too.
I'm kind of a pumpkin snob, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's what I figured you would be.
Well, I am. I don't mind paying a little extra, a little bit more and stuff, but then I sling them a book and then I get a great deal on pumpkins. So, right.
There you
These
go.
are my books, right? It's like, oh, okay. So, the big tree in front of the owl, in front of the library, that took a couple layers of scaffolding and everything. So
I'm sure.
that was a trip. But so
Is that the biggest you've done, or you've gotten bigger than that?
I think that well, they delivered it. It was 12 feet when they delivered it, and delivered it to my driveway. It was 15 feet. I cut it down to 12 feet. It was 15 feet tall. And it's like, so I didn't like stabilize it with anything. I just put scaffolding around it and just began. And I'm the kind of guy growing up in Chicago and Minnesota. So my house, I have neighbors, but they're kind of far away. Not far away. They're right next door, but I'm sort of down and you can't really hear what's going on.
Good.
I don't use chainsaws in the middle of the night, but I use angle grinders and die grinders, and my saber tooth stuff is slinging chunks of wood and everything in the middle of the night. So I was out here in my driveway. It was probably 20, 25 degrees last winter. Oh no, that's my happy place.
I do like cold. I do like cold.
I'm on scaffolding. It's 25 degrees. I have lights all over the scaffolding on this thing, and
You're probably sweating by then.
I am.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing it out all night long. And I check with my neighbors. I'm like, can you hear this? Can you hear this? No. And then finally I was like, okay, cool. Rock and roll, right? So but the oh gosh. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this. So this is what they delivered to my house. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So that was 15 feet. I may be older, Tiffany. But I'm certainly not any smarter. No, you might not.
Oh, wow. The first thing you did was stand on it.
That's the first damn thing I did. Was I got to get over there. So you can't see the ladder behind it.
Okay, it's behind it.
There's a step ladder, right? Now there's a promo shot for you, right? Look at this guy's an idiot. Really somebody lets him use chainsaws and angle grinders and
well, stuff? There's that thing on there's a reel that's like, you don't have to ask permission to do things, you can just do it. So you're a full example of that one.
Right. I'm a grown-ass man. I can do it if I want.
Climb this tree if I want to and stand on it.
If I fall off or cut my leg off, then that's my fault.
My fault.
Right. That was super cool.
Oh, that's so cool. When it comes to your jumping down to those smaller pieces, is that like a certain time of year that you end up doing those? Is that something that you keep coming back to, or is it just whenever the mood strikes?
Whenever the mood strikes. So I'm not a guy that can start one piece and go all the way to the end.
Okay.
It would be this way if you're looking at it. Anyway, start one and finish it. I mean, sometimes I can do like the elk antler things because they don't take long and they're tiny. Usually I have 3 to 5 pieces going on at once. And that's for a couple of reasons. One reason is I've learned that a lot of times stepping away from a piece a day or two and then coming back to it, I see it with different eyes, even though I'm the one that did it. And then I can see where I need to make adjustments or do, and it kind of refreshes the inspiration and all of that. You know, it's good to step away from something.
I agree.
It is for me anyway.
No, I think it prevents overworking, and you know what I mean? Like you might just try to go for it and attack it, and then you do something and then you regret it. So.
And I've done that many times. I mean, we all have. If you don't make mistakes, you're not digging in enough.
Exactly.
My whole deal with that, and we can get into that. If you remind me, just hit me up with one word, and that's fear. Once I finish this part. So I do a few 3 to 5 at once. And one is for what I just described, the reason, coming back to it. And, you know, it's just more fun to be able to move because, you know, it's probably OD, ADD, OCD, all the letters, you know,
all the letters
that are in my brain. I have all the letters of that, those.
Yeah, I get that.
And so it just makes it more interesting and more fun. And the other reason number two is physically. If you're doing something, whether it's chisels or with a rotary tool, you know, I have a couple different wheat shear rotary tools. If you're doing something just for a really long time, it really starts wearing you out, and it's not good for you.
Yep.
You know, it's good to mix it up. And so maybe one piece, it'll be the finishing process. And then the other piece, it'll be, I'll be hogging out something new. And then the other one is I'm refining details. So that's why I jump around a bunch. But as far as size, no, man, I could have a giant log outside and then come in and do one.
Work on a necklace. Yeah.
Right. So I am all over the map.
I like that you touched on the taking care of your body, though, because I think that's, you know, I was talking to Ella Fielding, and she talks about how she tries to stay in shape because of all the chainsaw work that she does. And I think that was a great point to try mixing it up when you can, to adjust and save your body. Because like just for me painting 5 days in a row, my back is killing me because I'm constantly arched over. And I'm like, today I took a day off and I went actually to New Hampshire, and I learned how to use a laser, and it was so cool. I just got to sit there and ask questions and be her little helper and do all the cleanup stuff. You know, I'm like, I'll clean it all. Like, give it to me. I'm like, it's how I'm gonna learn. Like,
you're getting a free tutor gig, right?
Exactly. So I'll sit there and do the job that, you know, nobody wants to do, wash all the residue off of stuff. I'm like, that's me.
Heck yeah. And then you will find your own rhythm, just like carving, just like anything else.
Exactly.
So like the pumpkin book, whether it comes to carving or whatever, so many people have asked me, they said, well, why did you do the book? And they said, because why would you give away all your secrets? Everything you do, your techniques, your tools, and everything else. And so my response every single time is, being a musician, I don't know if you know who somebody like Victor Wooten, a bass player, 5-time Grammy-winning bass. I have a lot of friends in the music business who are masters. So let's just use somebody that's not here. You can hand somebody the same guitar, and Jimi Hendrix, not anymore, could sit down with you, Eric Clapton, whatever. I use music because that's what I did for
totally.
as an analogy. He can sit down and show you every single thing that he did with the same guitar. Never going to play just like him.
Nope. No, I agree.
Same thing happens with carving and sculpting and all of that. I could show somebody everything, give them the exact same tools, and they're not going to carve like me. They're not going to transfer what's here to here like I do. I mean, maybe they'll be badass and it will be super cool, but it will always be different.
100%. I don't know if you watched Eric Curtis's interview, but he
I didn't.
says,
not yet.
In it, he goes, copy me, please copy me, because of the same thing. He knows that your outcome is going to be completely different than what he did. But if he inspires them to copy him, like, that's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. I dig what he said. Go ahead. Feel free. Wear it out. Do it. You know, I always hear, oh my gosh, I could never do that.
Yes.
I hear that all the time.
I'm sure you do.
Now that I can call myself a professional. I do this for a living. I'm halfway decent at it. So I hear it a lot. And my response to that is, how do you know? Well, I just know. I don't have any artistic ability. I said, well, I wasn't born with it. I didn't even know I could do this until 16 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up drawing. I didn't grow up with any artistic ability. No one in my family
isn't that crazy?
Any artistic ability at all. And so I say, you know, how do you really know? Right. Have you ever tried? Well, yeah, I tried carving a pumpkin once. Okay, cool. But have you really tried and failed and then did it again and then failed and did it again and got a little better and again and again and again. And before you know it, it's like, wow, that doesn't suck quite so much as the first 5 I did. So yeah, I think any kind of art, whether it's music or visual art or what we do, carving and sculpting and stuff, fear is probably the number one thing that holds so many people.
100%.
It's fear of failing, fear of it not being perfect, your first shot out, fear, just some fears, like just there's that wall, there's a mental wall.
There is, yeah.
So in my pumpkin book, I wrote something that applies, and I think I that page that I said this applies to my wood carving also. I noticed when I got into this, and I was maybe probably 4 years into carving and sculpting, and I noticed that I had a bunch of unfinished pieces on
Just
the
laying it.
wall. Stuff that was like, it looked cool, but I could tell it wasn't done. It wasn't finished, but it looked cool. And I thought really hard about that for days, and I figured it out. My own work intimidated me in a way that it looked cool, so I didn't want to screw it up.
I was gonna say you were afraid to take away too much to ruin it.
I was afraid to take more away and to screw it up. But it was hanging on that wall and not sold because it wasn't done here and here. So I just made an excuse to start something else, because let's face it, how much fun is it to start something new?
It is a ton of fun. It is.
Yeah, it's the blast. You have all these ideas and you start new stuff, and then you end up putting this stuff that's sort of, your own work can intimidate you. And
it really can.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that. And it took a lot of thought for me to realize that. So that one piece, the one that really stuck out in my head, I never finished it. And it's still hanging in my studio. I will never finish it. And it's right there right there as I'm carving. It's there all the time. And it's
just staring at you.
Constant reminder that no fear. So what I did to fix that, as soon as I discovered that, I decided I'm going to do a couple pieces that no one is going to see. Nice. Nobody's going to see.
Just for you.
I'm just going to, and I dug in so deep. And since I do faces, a lot of my faces, and most carvers, if they do faces, they're really flat. They're not, there's not a lot of depth because you're afraid to hog that wood out of there. And so I was like, nobody's going to see these. And I was like, I am going to dig in so hard. I'm going to destroy this piece of wood. And I did that. And of course, I'm using saber-tooth power stuff because I can do fast with that stuff. And it's wicked cool. You know what happened? I literally became not only a better carver, but a faster carver overnight.
You weren't afraid anymore, right?
Overnight. Yeah. It was like, oh my God.
Amazing.
This is what I've been tiptoeing up to this stuff. And so now a ton of fun is just even dig in places like something can be wonky, and then just roll with that. And then I'm a detail guy. I love details, wrinkles, and just tiny, tiny details.
You do such a good job. I was just looking at the eyelids and stuff of the dragon and everything. Like everything is like got these beautiful creases and folds. You're so good at it.
That's where I get off. I love detail.
I hope you enjoyed getting to know Lundy. He was so great, and I love the outfit that he was rocking. It felt like I was hanging out with Crocodile Dundee, which was very much appreciated. We just want to say thank you for listening. We have a bunch of new bird kits that came out earlier this month that have a variety of either grits or a variety of different styles of shapes to help get you started. So make sure you check out our website and subscribe to the newsletter so that you don't miss out on all the new burrs and kits that we have been releasing. Thank you for listening to the show, and keep on carving.